Hey, Lawrence, do you all feel defensively that you left a lot on the field that you can be so much better this year?
No doubt. When it comes to a run-in pass from a lot of players, but that's where we just develop our skill set of making tackles and stuff like that. Just little stuff.
I think like you said, I've been around a little bit. So one thing that happens, tends to happen, is, on paper, people start to make your own narrative and create your narrative. And I think at the end of the day, you still got to put that work in. So that's my message is, we have different players. We have players that people, recognize their names and all those things. That doesn't get you wins. You got to go out there and still do the work and still be focused. And kind of the same thing. It's like, last year people were unsure, how good we were going to be. Now people know, who we are as a team, who we are as a city. And so, you got to wear that with pride and understand what that comes with. And, we're going to get everybody's best every single game. You don't get this many primetime games for no reason.
That's right.
And so, we're excited for it.
Hey, Coach.
Hello.
Looking through your eyes in your second year here, how clear is the picture being painted and all the pieces starting to fit together a little bit more in this second year?
Yeah, it was definitely at times a little messy, before. And so trying to figure out the unique things that the player has and how would we feature them in the program and how would we use them. And so that takes some process to go through. What I've loved about seeing the team now is just this connection that they have together. And so that's a really big deal for us. And I love that the, guys who've been in the program for 1 year are helping the ones that are entering into it. So, yeah, it's clearer because of the vision of what we think certain players can do. And now our job as coaches is to try to put them into those spaces where they can really excel, try to find the right scheme for that. How do we train them, for that specific skill or set? And so if we can do that really, really well, then I think then when you're called upon to do that specific thing, you should really nail that. So.
John Hopkins Pro Football Plus here with Lake Lewis as we wrap up the mandatory mini camp and your assessment, your takeaways from these 3 days.
Just impressed. I mean, this is a much better football team than we saw last year at this time. And I think the speed, the athleticism, they're bigger. But more importantly, Donna, these guys are in shape. I mean, the last 3 days, we keep looking at guys and like, his body looks totally different from what it did last year. Even some of the stalwarts, Marshawn Lattimore, you almost don't recognize him because he's thinned down so much, but yet he still looks great. He's in shape. So you can tell these guys are taking this season very serious.
So let's start with the offensive side of the ball because I had talked about that the running back room is loaded. 8 running backs in camp. Austin Eckler talked about this is the most that he's ever had on any team. And this talent there, it's going to be interesting in training camp of who makes this team in the running back room. And nobody is for sure money. You could say Brian Robinson, Eckler. But I don't know because the thing about it is Coach Lynn talked about just some of the younger guys that really has stood out. And Dietrich, I talked about him. They said that he's had the best camp of any of the running backs.
Demetrius Felt.
Yes. And what have you seen from the running back room that has impressed you? What guy really stands out to you?
It's funny you say that because Demetrius Felton definitely has jumped out. The speed, he has a burst. And then, of course, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, the 7th-round draft pick out of Arizona, he's as advertised. The cut, the speed, it's there. And I'm going out on record and saying it now. The running back room is going to look totally different this year. I do think Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler stick around, of course, but I think those 2 young guys I just named make the roster, and a guy like maybe a Chris Rodriguez or a Wiley who was here last year on the practice squad, it's going to be tough for some of these guys. Fortunately for those 2 guys, they'll still be eligible to be on the practice squad. So out of those 8, I think 6 are going to be on that practice field in the fall, but 4 of them will be obviously on the main roster, and 2 of them are going to be rookies. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I do too. And not only that, I think they're going to keep 5 running backs because the thing about it is the running back position, but the running back position plays on special teams a lot, so they need that speed also. Let's turn the pages over to the wide receiver. I talked about that. It was sad seeing Noah Brown go down because this guy was having a tremendous 3 days, and he adds so much to this roster, being a big receiver. He's their biggest receiver, and you could tell that he came back excited to be back out there after that injury last year. But for him to go down, and as I stated before, we don't know what the injury is, but how do you see that that wide receiver room? Because Luke McCaffrey, he may have been on the bubble, but they said that he has stepped up and played well. And then the rookie Lane, but that is a loaded room also with a lot of talent. And I talked about that. Terry isn't there, but Terry knows his offense, and the coaches know what he could do. But what has impressed you about that room? Who has stood out for you?
Obviously Debo Samuel. I mean, he's a monster. I mean, he's a big dude, and he's fast. And you heard Coach Quinn tell us just a few minutes ago that was something. And when I asked him as far as some of the free agent signings, you coached against him. You've had to prepare against those guys. But now that you see them up close and personal as your team, who stood out? And he said Debo. And he said he forgot how fast he was. He said he knows he's a tough guy to tackle. He said, but just seeing him run past people on some deep routes, he forgot. Like, I had to prepare for that too. And he said, and he's instantly one of their fastest players. So, you think about him and the connection that he's already starting to develop with Jaden. You can't miss it, folks. It's right in front of you. And you can only think when it happens, because let's make sure everyone understands Terry will be under contract when we come back for training camp. Those two guys on the field, it's going to be something. It's going to be something Terry's never experienced in his career, and you might be able to make the same argument for Debo. Nothing against Brandon Ayuk and some of these guys, but Debo's never had a Terry on the other side of him. So they're going to make each other better, and more importantly, they're going to make number 5 better. It's just exciting times if you're a Commanders fan.
Yeah, on the offensive side of the ball, they've got speed at wide receiver across the board, something that they haven't had. And also the running back room, they're so much better. The offensive line, we got a chance to talk to Laramie Tunsil today. He talked about Josh Connelly and just what this guy, and he hasn't even put on pads yet, and he's impressed with him.
You know who I'm really impressed with, though? JC. JC is going to be a dog. I'm not just saying that just to go smoke up his ass. Oh, sorry, but JC's going to be a dog. Can't wait to see it.
Why do you say that?
Just the way he moves, the way he's been, athletic, smart, very intelligent. I think he got all the tools to be a damn good player.
What are some of the major things that you're taking away from this coaching staff?
It's like they always have high energy. I'm like, where y'all get this energy from? Is it coffee, whatever y'all have? Please let me know where y'all get this energy from. It's always high energy. It's always positive, optimistic. You know what I mean? It's never negative. They always trying to coach. They always trying to, I think it's personal before it's business. You know what I mean? That's huge.
So I'm not even going to mention Jaden because Jaden is Jaden, and you know already about that. But Ben Sinnott, tight end, has really been impressive also. Second-year guy that has really showed some promise of what they wanted to see last year. So like what we're seeing from him. Now, as we turn the pages over to the defensive side of the ball, that secondary has to be special within, Mikey Sanders still moving back inside, Jonathan Jones on the outside, Lattimore being back. He said that he is 100%. He wasn't last year, even late in the season. We could tell that. But to have those 3 guys and the other people in the room, Trey Amos. Yeah, I didn't even mention, I hadn't even gotten him yet, but Trey Amos, when you're talking about those 4 guys that you can interchange and everything, this, to me, is the strongest that this secondary in the back has been in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even mention guys like Tyler Owens, who they really liked last year, but he was an undrafted rookie, so, kind of had to get acclimated to the NFL game. But you see him back there, and I keep saying it. We remember somebody roaming back there, pretty big monster back there by the name of Sean Taylor. You can't help but see that with Tyler Owens. Just from a size standpoint, he's a big dude, and he runs sideline to sideline. So you think about a guy like that, they're going to give him every opportunity to be on the field. Percy Butler's taking another step forward, looks really good back there. Quan Martin, as your starting free safety, looks good. Will Harris is interchangeable. Jeremy Reeves is getting a lot of run. He's getting a lot of play, and they want to try to get him on the field during meaningful reps in games, not just as a special teams captain. So
I don't know how he's going to get on there with those names that we just named.
But it's all there. The competition, I think, Donna, is without question. You look at all these position groups that we used to joke about, not in a good way of joking, about how bad and putrid they were. Well, not only are these guys, the depth is there, the competitive nature, they're all dogs, but the coaching backs them up. So it's just, I'm excited because I think this is the first time in my career covering this team that I'm actually covering a team that I feel like has legit Super Bowl aspirations. They're a good football team. Borderline, things go the right way, a great football team. But they got to put it together on the field. We know what we've seen. It's just mini camp. You can't get too excited. You can't get too high. Can't get too low. But I know what my eyes see from covering football for 20 years in the NFL. I know what I see, and this is a deep football team, probably the deepest I've ever seen in Washington.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say they have more depth on the offensive side of the ball at the offensive line and also on the defensive line where they signed so many new bodies, Wise and Kinlaw and all of those, Martin and all of those guys. So they are so much better with the depth that they can interchange those players. And as Daryl Tapp told me, Coach Daryl Tapp told me, they can't be a one trick pony. See, I didn't even know. One trick pony. Right. And you could tell that by this team as far as them having to know multiple positions. So we're excited about this team. But like Lake said, don't mean anything on paper. Is what you put out on the field. So training camp, 40 days away. We'll be all back out here again.
I was talking to Jaden about this, actually. We were talking about how having the same offense back-to-back and how it doesn't necessarily slow the game down, but mentally you're able to process a little bit more, so you're able to keep more on your plate. And so it gives the kind of a confidence in yourself that you know where you're supposed to be, the steps. Still got get the younger guys and the new guys up to speed, but it's a lot easier to get a few guys in the whole squad.